The world's poorest countries are plunging deeper into poverty, forced to spend more of their meager incomes on skyrocketing food bills. So, millions now skip meals, eat less protein, eat less of everything, and still work and live and take care of their families. But for how long? Soon the weaker ones will join the ranks of the famished, swelling numbers that should haunt the world's conscience and yours too. In Haiti, the prices for rice and cereals have risen so quickly that the poor can barely afford a meal a day. Many now exist on sun-baked cookies made of mud, salt, and a little vegetable oil. That's right, mud, dirt. At least it fills their stomachs. Try eating mud the next time you get hungry. Try filling your gut with dirt. But in Haiti, even that is getting expensive. The price of yellow mud that the Haitians prefer has gone up $1.50 in 1 year, making the price of a single yellow mud cookie about 5 cents. But whether it's yellow or brown or black, it's still just mud. Dirt for a meal. No calories, just filler, the sensation of a meal without the nourishment. Expect to see more of it. The hunger horror winds on. The creeping shadow of famine is slowly contaminating the poorer countries of the world, stripping many of even their last possession, hope. In India last year, 25,000 farmers took their own lives, unable to feed their families. They were driven to despair by debt and fluctuating grain prices. 25,000 exactly? I don't believe it. Some callous journalist rounded it off. Well, up or down? Who knows? Who knows what the real number is, if there is one? How many farmers secretly died in shame, hiding their deaths from their family in the world? 68 farmers committed suicide today, and another 68 tomorrow, and another group the day after. Why don't we hear more about their anguish and desperation? Some Indian states now keep suicide ledgers, and somewhere a bureaucrat is entering names in them every day. Why isn't this tragedy part of our daily lives? And not just because we should empathize with these poor, tortured souls, but because we can expect that there will be many more of them. What's ahead of us is far worse than what's behind. In fact, the future is so bleak and depressing that it'll make you want to join those Indian farmers and swallow some pesticide and hope the end comes quickly. For the rest of us, there's no quick fix out of this one. The hunger crisis is not going to be buried in the sands of history, not a chance. This one is with us for a long time to come, and I'll tell you why. One simple fact. Just to keep up with the growth in population, more food will have to be produced over the next 50 years than during the last 10,000 combined. So where's it going to come from? 40% of the world's agricultural land is already seriously degraded by pollution, or overuse, or neglect, or climate change. So where is this additional food going to be produced, and how? Nobody has an answer for that one. But one thing is certain. There's less corn on the market. The American farmers may be getting fat on high prices and government subsidies, but close to a third of their crop leaves the food shelves and flows into gas tanks. That means less corn to feed the animals, which in turn boosts the price of meat everywhere, all over the world. There's a lot of corn flowing into the mouths of chickens and pigs and cattle. For every 2 pounds of corn, you get 1 pound of chicken. And for every 7 pounds of corn, 1 pound of beef, which explains, of course, why beef costs more than chicken. But since only half of that beef is edible, you can say, looking at that 12-ounce steak on your plate, that it represents about 10 pounds of corn. A pretty inefficient way to take in calories, right? Add to this the fact that in places like India and China, millions of people suddenly have more money to spend, and they're getting tired of just eating rice. Now they want meat and dairy products, and prices are going up. In Asia, dairy products have gained 80%, The price of a dairy cow in New Zealand has almost doubled in the last year. If you've got plenty of money, that doesn't matter all that much. The British are not demonstrating in the streets because now a loaf of bread costs nearly $2, and the Japanese aren't worried about having enough rice for their sushi. The human equation is incredibly simple. Translate all this into people terms, and it becomes very clear. More steak and ethanol for the rich, less corn and other grains for the poor. Is that too straightforward? Too facile? The truth often is. So next time you slice up a steak, think about what it cost. Not in dollars and cents, but about what it took to get it on your plate. About how many people you could have had sitting at the table with you. How many mouths you could have fed. The missing at your table are the shadow men and women. The starving millions you seldom see, never hear. The quiet, passive, famished masses, too sick to do anything except stare into space and wait for death or deliverance. Given a little water, and not much, a man can last for weeks before he withers into his own shell. Long before that happens, a kind of hopelessness and despondency usually sets in. And as it slowly shrouds the mind, your body recognizes the approaching end. Your defenses weaken, and a flood of germs pours in. Hunger knocks you down. Desperation and disease are the real killers. Right now, as I speak, in some forgotten corner of the world, a few wasted, famished souls have reached their limits. For them, hope is gone. Life has ebbed. Their desiccated horizon is empty. Their days and nights have merged into a blurred haze. Their will is broken. They are giving up and embracing death as their only release. How many more are waiting their turn, starting the slow descent to despair? That I can tell you with precision. Yes, the numbers are clear, and I warn you, they're huge. The zeros add on easily, just as fast as I can write them. But what are they? Just newspaper numbers, statistics you see every day, always in the millions or even billions. Read them and forget them. No humanity there. Try this then.